You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, it looks like we have another not quite as bad as the Sharon Moore situation in Michigan, but certainly is not good if you are a college football coach hoping to keep a job. Because it seems that no matter what you're into as a college football coach, what you might not ought to be into is students, John Matrix.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know all the details of this, but it definitely seems to be better just on the surface than Sharon Moore.
Well,
it still ain't good.
As of right now, we don't have anything involving knives or jail sentences.
Thank God.
Okay, we've just got extremely badass judgment. Okay, horribly bad judgment, and it's kind of funny. This is not Ohio State, but it is Iowa, or it is Ohio. Let's take a look at this. This happened the other day. Brian Smith got fired, but is just coming out why he is getting fired. It seems he has a hankering for students. By the way, you see that extramarital affairs. God.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Ex-Ohio University head football coach Brian Smith had a 4-month relationship with an undergraduate student. New records show. The university placed Smith on a leave December 1 and fired him on Wednesday after the first-year head coach led the Bobcats to an 8-4 record. Them smaller schools, 8-4 can be a catapult to a better job. Not anymore. Not anymore. The school has publicly stated the reason for Smith's firing, other than saying he, quote, committed serious professional misconduct.
Wow.
Yeah, you could say that. New documents obtained by Front Office Sports Public Records requests show 2 letters sent by the university president, Lori Gonzalez, to Smith and his lawyer, and another message sent by an attorney back to the school. First, a letter from Gonzalez, dated December 12, is a notice of intent to fire Smith. The second letter is attorney Rex H. Elliott's response on Tuesday, and the third letter is the official termination letter. In the notice letter, Gonzalez lays out the university's reasons for firing Smith. Quote, participation in extramarital affairs, including one with an undergraduate student to which you have admitted.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Affairs with an S.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Wow.
It gets worse. Repeated use of alcohol in your office. You're getting lit in the office? That's what's happening? In violation of university policy, quote, a public appearance during which you smelled strongly of alcohol and were intoxicated in your demeanor. Dude, he pulled a Steve Sarkisian. You remember Sark got run off because he couldn't control his drinking?
Yep.
Back in the day? Now, the big difference is I don't remember any young ladies involved in this. In Sarkisian. Gonzalez wrote that Smith's extramarital affairs, including the relationship with the student, triggers clauses in his contract that refer to a potential firing for, quote, disrepute, scandal, and ridicule that reflect poorly on the school. In response, Elliott wrote that, quote, Coach Smith didn't participate in an extramarital affair, and you know it. Oh, this is interesting. Saying that the coach and his wife have been separated. Since earlier in the year, the two finalized their divorce earlier this month. Oh, that's interesting.
But my question is, Rhodes, when did he start banging a student, though? Was it 2 years ago?
It said 4 months ago.
Oh, 4 months ago. Okay.
It said 4 months ago. Now, probably not a great idea to have made it a student. I wouldn't think. Well, you're the coach, because if you're the coach of a school, technically speaking, that student, I think, would be under you in rank. That's how that's considered. So you get my point. Coach Smith did not hide the relationship. Even his now ex-wife didn't accuse him of engaging in an extramarital affair. Elliott said Smith met the student at, quote, an establishment in Athens and didn't know she attended the university, but the two were, quote, perfectly appropriate consensual adult relationship. He wrote that the woman did not work in the athletic department, and Smith ended the nearly 4-month relationship in early November. The letter says OU does not have a policy barring employees from dating students. Well, so did you get fired for drinking on the job?
That's probably closer. Now, like I said, I went in cold on this, so I didn't really know the details. But if this relationship with the student is true, that they met off campus, he didn't know her, she just so happened to go to school, yeah, it's going to be hard to justify firing him for that, especially, if it's true that him and his wife had already been divorced, had already separated. But drinking on the job, yeah, you can get fired for that.
Well, showing up to a public event drunk.
Yeah.
They said smelling of booze.
Oh, yeah, you're done then. You're done.
Responded that the claim was misleading because Smith was living at the inn following the separation from his wife. The coach told Larshade that he saw the parents while with a 41-year-old woman he was dating after the student. So I guess he started seeing another woman after he ended things with the student.
Yeah.
Gonzalez also cited Smith's drinking in the letter, saying his contract bars him from drinking, quote, as to impair his duties. Elliott says that this claim had no relationship to the truth. Gonzalez also cited violation of university policy, drinking in his office. Yeah, that's not a great idea. For which Smith was reprimanded last month. In a response, Elliott wrote that the coaches were toasting victories after home wins with bourbon provided by your husband to Coach Smith in his office. Wow. So evidently the woman that fired him, he got the whiskey or the bourbon from her husband, is what it sounds like.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to tell you why this is so different than Sharon Moore outside of the obvious legal implications, let's call it. There's been instances where coaches have had extracurricular affairs, etc. And having heard all of and now some of the rebuttal in this, in my opinion, is probably partially due to the fact that he's going to try to get another job somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to try to answer that. Look, Rick Pitino, we all know the stuff he was into.
You can actually get another job if you were sleeping around. Ime Udoka, prime example.
Exactly. Well, Bobby Petrino, you remember him?
Yeah.
And the motorcycle accident with the girl with him and all that?
But you can't show up to work drunk. You can't do that.
No, that's not a great idea. But I mean, let's be honest. If now look, Steve Sarkisian is one of the great offensive minds in all of college football, so that helps. But if he can get by it and end up as the coach of a top 5 college football program, I would say this coach is going to make it over this. I do, actually. Now, what kind of job? I don't know. But when you go 8-4 you're going to get a look by somebody. You know, in college football, that's just the way it is. Now, how fast? I don't know. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, it might take him a couple of years.
It is possible. Man. The drinking is the real problem, I believe. I don't believe it's the affair. The drinking is the real problem. Because especially if you're a football coach, what are the chances Roti was actually drunk at a football game?
Well, you never know. You never know. Could have been.
It's possible, man. I mean,
you know,
when I was in college and marching band, we had Saturday morning practice. I think it's like 7 to 9, and then people be tailgating at the stadium. They told us you can't tailgate because they said if you show up drunk when it's time to meet up again, you're done. You kicked out of school, you're losing your scholarship, and guess what? Some idiot it happened to showed up drunk, they got him out of there. Never saw him again.
Well, look, when I worked corporate, I coached our softball teams. And, you know, here in East Texas, you go to softball games, it's a whole parking lot full of people tailgating for hours and hours. We're talking 100 cars out there tailgating.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're playing 3 or 4 different games on different fields all at one time, yada, yada, yada. Well, we got about halfway through our second season, and I got called in the office by a site director, and we got our facility and anybody in it got banned from participating in any tailgates before or after softball.
Wow.
Because we were there playing for the company team. So, you know, and I got it. I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can get down with that. But, you know, their point was, well, what if somebody leaves the event and kills somebody in a car wreck or they die in a car wreck? Then, you know, it becomes potential liability issues, yada, 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 back onto the company. Made sense. I got it.
Right.
You know, but anyway, man, that's crazy. That's crazy that this went down so many days close to Coach Moore.
Interesting.
Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports supporters. Peace. We're out.
Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.